This is a 13 Weather Impact Alert.
Well, good Wednesday evening, West Michigan. I'm Meteorologist Blake Hansen here in the Weather Center. It's about 8:30 or so in this evening time frame, and obviously the focus of the forecast is about our severe weather risk come really this time tomorrow, late in the day into the evening, late evening hours of tomorrow, as we'll likely have thunderstorms work their way through West Michigan. It's really just a matter of the severity of these thunderstorms and the risk that they present. That's going to be really what our messaging will be throughout the rest of tonight and especially through tomorrow as we approach that potential of severe weather. Let's start off with a good sight here, and that's our beach camera in Grand Haven. We have a nice sunny sky now over the lake shore. There's been a lot of fog over Lake Michigan in the past couple days. That's due to some mugginess around, some higher levels of humidity in the way of the dew point, and you interact that with the cooler waters of Lake Michigan. As typical this time of year, we do get a lot of lake fog, and that was the case in Grand Haven today, but a nice setting sun. By the way, for those that like tracking sunrise, sunset, sunset is approaching 9 in the evening, and by really this weekend, almost all of West Michigan will see that sunset time past 9 in the evening and will remain that way all the way through the first few days of August. So we're definitely at the longest amounts of daylight in a given year. We're almost there. We're only about a month and some change away from the summer solstice. So yeah, these are some long days in terms of daylight. Let's start off what's going on right now. We do have a few thunder showers ongoing right now. I want to quickly kind of go over this because some of you are contending with brief heavy rain, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder. Nothing is severe with these showers and storms outside of maybe the small potential of a little bit of hail and some brief gusty wind, but this is nothing near severe criteria. So generally speaking, these are just run-of-the-mill showers coming through parts of western Kent County now into the eastern half of Ottawa County. So just to the west of the Walker area, north of Hudsonville. We even have another thunderstorm just to the west of Dorr. This one providing, again, some quick heavy rain, thunder and lightning, maybe just enough for some small pea-sized hail, but really nothing that is screaming severe weather. All of this is going to quickly come to an end after sunset. So within the next hour or two, really expect any coverage that remains to fall apart, and then we'll be dry the rest of the night. So very hit or miss in nature. Many of us have not seen these showers or storms today, but that will be the case at least for the next hour or two, and then we'll be dry through a fair chunk of our Thursday. Now back to the west, you can see a lot of thunderstorm development blossoming across the Dakotas. That's our next weather maker, and that's a cold front that's going to sweep through West Michigan come really this time tomorrow. We do have a 13 weather impact alert, our own in-house alert for tomorrow evening, and all this really means for you is that we should be weather aware come tomorrow evening. I've shortened the time frame of our severe weather opportunity tomorrow. It does appear that storms will be on our doorstep around 8 in the evening, and they will likely be out of here by midnight. So we're only talking about a 3 to 4 hour time frame here of thunderstorms rolling through West Michigan, providing that severe weather risk. These are going to be some fast-moving storms, and we'll show the hour-by-hour forecast in just a second. But the biggest thing here really tomorrow evening and tomorrow itself is to stay on top of the forecast, stay weather aware. I know it can be a little of a fatigue to keep up on the forecast so much, but I do think tomorrow warrants being weather aware pretty much start to finish tomorrow, just to be to have that heads up of what could be happening by this time tomorrow. And another good thing to have is just have numerous ways to get weather alerts as storms roll through. You might lose power, you might lose access to watch us on television or on our streaming app 13 Plus. So it's always good to have different ways to get weather information, whether that's through TV, through your phone, maybe a weather radio, for example, from NOAA. That's always another good way to receive those crucial alerts if they do occur, if they are issued by the National Weather Service later tomorrow. The bottom line, this is the current outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. This is not budged today. This is the latest risk that was issued out earlier this afternoon. The next update to this map will be a little after midnight tonight. But you can see this large area that's shaded in orange here, and that is a enhanced risk. And this enhanced risk is a level 3 out of 5 risk from the Storm Prediction Center, that they have what we call a level 1 marginal risk, a level 2 slight risk, a level 3 enhanced risk, then there's a level 4 moderate risk, and then the highest risk possible is a level 5 high risk from the Storm Prediction Center. You can see this shaded in green, the outline here, the dark green, that's that level 1 marginal risk. Much of the UP into the eastern half of the lower peninsula, the Ohio River Valley, that yellow coloring, that's the level 2 slight risk. And then this in orange, that's the highest risk as of now for tomorrow, later in the day into the nighttime hours, stretching from Wisconsin a little bit into northern Illinois and Indiana, and then pretty much all of West Michigan. That's the level 3 enhanced risk out of 5. What does that really mean for you at home? It's the potential that there could be numerous severe thunderstorms in a given setup, and that's what we are expecting tomorrow, the potential for numerous severe thunderstorms that could be a bit on the intense side, especially in the way of wind, hail, and even a tornado or two. I really do think from a risk perspective, our main risk tomorrow will be wind and hail. Wind, damaging wind with gusts maybe upwards in excess of 60 miles per hour, and also in the way of large hail. By definition, hail to be of severe criteria is 1 inch in diameter, so quarter size. But the Storm Prediction Center has also made a note that there is the potential, based on the ingredients we have in our atmosphere tomorrow, that there could be even larger hail in some of these thunderstorms, potentially upwards of 2 inches in diameter, maybe even larger than that. That would be, to put this in a better way, golf ball size hail, or if not even larger than that. So we're talking some significant hail for our standards. To a lesser extent, the tornado risk is less compared to the damaging wind and hail threat, at least to me right now. But having said that, the environment does support a couple tornadoes tomorrow, and that's nothing to shy away from. There is the potential for that tomorrow late in the evening. Don't really sense any flooding concern here in West Michigan, and that's due to the fast-moving nature of these storms. We're not expecting thunderstorms to what we call train over a given location, where it's going to be hours on hours of heavy rain, allowing for flash flooding to develop. I think at most tomorrow we could see a little bit of ponding on the roadways occur. I think that's about it in terms of any flooding risk for tomorrow. Let's get into our hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow. And you can see here, I'm going to bring this all the way back. So there's kind of our spotty coverage that's going on right now. The model's doing okay, trying to depict that. Notice that fades away as we lose daytime heating within the next hour or two. The sun's about to set. And we'll be rather quiet tomorrow during the daytime hours. I kind of want to make that clear. You get out and it's 2, 3 in the afternoon. Let's just get to 2, 3 in the afternoon. And there's not going to be really anything going on. It's going to be warm tomorrow. We're going to be in the 80s tomorrow. It's going to continue to be a bit muggy outside. In fact, I think tomorrow will be kind of the height of our mugginess. It'll feel rather warm when you factor in that mugginess tomorrow. But what we're going to be looking out for is the potential really for storms to blossom out to our west. I'm going to try to bring a different view here. So just give me 1 second, and we're going to try to bring this view because it's important to show where these storms actually fire up from. Here we go. So here's kind of the larger view. Notice, as we're starting to push now into 5, 6 o'clock, see those thunderstorms that are developing off towards our west, upstream of us, towards Wisconsin? That's what we're going to initially be looking at as we get into tomorrow, late in the afternoon, into those early evening hours. Notice what happens. The storms really fire up and take kind of a southern extent as they continue to feed off of this favorable environment for storms. And by about 8, 9 o'clock, yeah, they're at the lake shore. So that's what we're going to be really focusing on, those initial thunderstorms in Wisconsin, and how many additional thunderstorms develop on the southern end of this broken line, if you want to call it that way, this squall line that's expected to develop late tomorrow towards the end of the day, really closing in on sunset. So I'm going to go back to our close-up view here, and you can see here's 2 o'clock, and then we're going to get to about 8, 9 o'clock. And you can see there's that broken line of thunderstorm activity that pretty much encompasses all of West Michigan. And I know this is just one particular model, but there's a lot of confidence with the model data right now of this scenario playing out. I really don't think this is a boom or bust situation tomorrow. There's numerous times in a given severe weather season where we say, oh, there's the opportunity of storms to fire up, and then nothing really happens. I don't sense that to be the case tomorrow. I do think we're going to have thunderstorms sweep through the area. Again, it really just comes down to how severe, how strong they are, and what type of risk they present, whether it's wind, hail, or even that tornado opportunity. But I do want to show, look how quickly these storms are going to race through West Michigan. So here's 9 o'clock. They're pretty much at the lake shore. By about 11 o'clock, the bulk of this line, the leading edge of it at least, is eastward of US 131. And by midnight, most of this is now east of West Michigan. This is past midnight, and any lingering severe weather threat is on the east side of the state. We will be drying out quickly. So again, we're talking only about a 3-4 hour window here of these thunderstorms racing through West Michigan, really in a given location. Say you're in Muskegon, those storms will roll in at 9 o'clock, and by 11, that's about it. So it's going to be a very short window for these storms to come through. They will be fast moving, probably moving 60, 70 miles per hour west to east. And then we dry out as we get into tomorrow morning. So from what we do know, this is what we are anticipating, is for thunderstorms to develop and arrive here at the lake shore, arrive at the western half of our area by about 8 to 9 o'clock. And this will be done with by 11 in the evening to around midnight. These will be fast-moving storms, as mentioned, moving west to east. The risk here, and the environment supports all modes of severe weather, as I've said, wind, hail, a few tornadoes. I think if there's a few things that are uncertain right now, and we might not know how this plays out until storms actually do arrive, is the orientation of these storms. And what I mean by that is, are these storms going to kind of form into that classic squall line, and it's just one congealed thunderstorm, if you want to call it that way, up and down the lake shore through the state of Michigan? If that's the case, I think our biggest threat would be straight line winds and some large hail. However, if we see what we call discrete thunderstorms develop, or individual thunderstorms that are not associated with a line, like in terms of the squall line, that would give a better opportunity of rotation in these thunderstorms, and potentially some strong supercell thunderstorms that would give a better opportunity of tornadoes. I think that's the biggest thing we're going to have to watch out for tomorrow evening, is how these thunderstorms behave to our west, and how will they orient as they get into West Michigan. There's also some concern maybe not the right word here, there's also some question of how far south these thunderstorms will develop. There still will be a little bit of a cap in our atmosphere. We've talked about this before in prior severe weather outlooks. But a cap in our atmosphere is like putting a lid on boiling water. It prevents thunderstorms to develop. There is still somewhat of a cap near I-94 and then stretching down to the state line. That's why that enhanced level 3 risk, bring this back up, doesn't really extend too far south of northern Indiana. That's why much of Indiana into Ohio, even Illinois, not included in this enhanced risk. That's because they're going to be battling a strong cap That likely will limit thunderstorm development there. Some of that cap might be still around for our southern communities, again, closer to I-94. Now, having said that, I think that we will not really contend with the cap as these thunderstorms come through and have a better potential that all of us see those storms. So again, when we get to about 8, 9 o'clock, and what I mean by the orientation here, notice that this particular model run, yeah, it kind of looks like a line coming through, but you can kind of see these individual storms, kind of what we call supercells here, these individual storms, and that just gives those storms a better potential to feed off of all the ingredients that are available in our atmosphere, possibly allowing it to rotate and allow for that greater potential of tornadoes. Again, I still think the biggest risk will be straight line winds and hail, but that is something we really do need to keep an eye on as tomorrow goes on. Again, this is the broad severe weather risk from the Storm Prediction Center, but if we expand this, they also do outlooks for individual risk, such as the damaging wind risk, the large hail risk, and the tornado risk. You can see here, let's start with wind, and this is going to be at the bottom right of your screen. So this is our overall outlook right here. There's that orange level 3 enhanced risk. In terms of damaging wind, all of this shaded in red here is a 30% chance of seeing a wind gust at least of 60 miles per hour. You might say to yourself, well, 30% doesn't seem that likely. In terms of severe weather outlooks, however, that is a high probability, because never in a severe weather outlook you're going to have 100% opportunity. That's just not feasible in terms of forecasting severe weather. So definitely damaging wind is a large risk across West Michigan. Then we go to hail. Similar story. That shaded in red, a 30% opportunity in a given location that there will be inch-size hail. But you notice that dashed line that's through Wisconsin into West Michigan, even extending a little bit southward into Indiana and Illinois. That, from the Storm Prediction Center, is what we call a hatched risk. And what that means is that there is the opportunity that hail could be in excess of 2 inches in diameter. And that's why the hail threat could be rather prominent as these storms come through. Now, lastly, the tornado risk. The greatest risk is back off towards Wisconsin. This in yellow here is a 10% risk of a tornado in a given location. That is not extended, has not been extended into West Michigan. This brown shade you see here, that's really across much of the lower peninsula, is a 5% opportunity. That is still rather impressive, especially for us here in West Michigan. You notice the dashed line also included in that yellow risk there for tornadoes in Wisconsin. What that means is that there's a probability that a tornado, at least in Wisconsin for now, the Storm Prediction Center is indicating that there could be a tornado that's of EF2 strength or higher, which would be deemed as a violent tornado. I do have a feeling, and I don't work with the Storm Prediction Center and I don't make these outlooks, but I do think, based on some of the model data that's been coming out today and just how our environment will be tomorrow, that I would not be surprised that higher tornado risk stretching a little bit into West Michigan with the next outlook, or maybe later on tomorrow as we get closer to the arrival of those thunderstorms. So again, we have all modes of severe weather possible tomorrow. I do want to show why that is, and that's because our environment will be favorable. Temperatures today have been in the 70s. It's been a warm day. It's been a bit muggy out there. Look what happens tomorrow. So this is 8 in the morning tomorrow. We only fall to around 60, so it's going to remain warm tonight. Look what happens tomorrow as the day gets on. This is 3, 4 in the afternoon tomorrow. We soar into the 80s. We could be as warm as 85, 86 degrees in those warmest spots tomorrow. So we're going to have a lot of instability bubbling in our atmosphere as we warm up through the day with a good amount of sunshine, really nothing stopping this warm up tomorrow. Even as we get towards the arrival of those thunderstorms, here's 8 o'clock, we are still around 80 degrees. That is warm. So we will still have a lot of juice in our atmosphere for these storms to thrive off of. Another thing, So instability is one of our ingredients. The next one is moisture, and we will have humidity tomorrow. Those dew points stay above 60 degrees. In fact, there are signs, some of the models tomorrow are indicating that our dew points could be well into the middle to upper 60s. It will feel muggy tomorrow. So that supports those storms to feed off of both the warmth of the day and also the amount of moisture that's in our atmosphere. And when you combine that together, notice this is what we call storm energy. The technical term is called CAPE, but we don't need to worry about that. This is just the amount of storm energy that's available in our atmosphere. And notice as the day goes on, that energy starts to build. And here's 7 o'clock, and before those storms arrive, we at least have moderate energy, if not even for many, high available energy for these storms to feed off of. So instability is not going to be an issue tomorrow. We also will have a source of lift in our atmosphere tomorrow, and that's because a cold front is what's driving these thunderstorms. These thunderstorms are going to initialize out ahead of a cold front, and the cold front will sweep through the area as these storms arrive. So we checked off the box for instability, we checked off the box for moisture, we checked off the box for lift. The final ingredient is wind shear. And again, wind shear is just the measurement of wind with height in our atmosphere and also the direction of that wind. And it does appear we'll have enough spin in our atmosphere, wind shear, to support maybe those individual thunderstorms that could allow for rotation and maybe a tornado or two. So again, we check off all the boxes there for ingredients. I think the bottom line that I'm trying to say here is that, again, there's a lot of times here when we talk about severe weather in West Michigan where it's kind of a wait and see approach. Oh, it could happen, but we might not see anything at all. And a lot of times we don't see anything. We're not in Tornado Alley. We're not in the Deep South. But tomorrow, based on what's available, I just don't think we're going to have a wait and see approach. I think it's pretty much a likelihood these thunderstorms will roll in, and it's just a matter of what's the degree of their strength and what's the risk that they will present as they come into West Michigan. And again, that will really be dictated if it's a squall line coming through or if we see those individual thunderstorms that present more of a tornado risk. So definitely, I think it's one of those days tomorrow to be weather aware. It's pretty important to do so on these type of days, you know, and it's not to sound the alarm or make you feel nervous by any means, but knowledge is power, and it's definitely one of those days just to be on top of things, and hopefully we don't deal with severe weather. No one wants to see that, and these come through and we don't have any issues, but we do have the potential for impactful weather tomorrow, so we want to be ahead of the game here. The biggest thing is just, you know, remembering your safe spots in your house. You know, if we do have an opportunity of tornadoes, there's a situation that does develop where we have a tornado warning or something along the lines of that, such as maybe straight line winds that are producing 60, 70 miles per hour wind gust. We definitely just want to be ahead of that and make sure we kind of go over that severe weather plan. And, you know, a couple other things too. If you live in a manufactured home, you know, you're in a mobile home per se, you know, those are not great spots to be when we talk about severe weather like this. So you want to kind of utilize that plan, be ahead of the game here, and just make sure you're in a better location as these storms roll through. And the good news is that these storms roll through really fast, and it won't be a situation where you have to hunker down for 6-7 hours. We're talking in a given location, these storms are in and out within an hour or two. So that's kind of the case there, and we want to make sure that, you know, devices are charged just in case if power is out tomorrow, all that good stuff, so that we're prepared. I think the biggest thing, again, tomorrow for those that are just joining us, is that we have that potential for severe weather. We really have the likelihood of thunderstorms tomorrow. It's, again, the potential of severe weather in that 3-4 hour time frame between about 8 o'clock to around midnight tomorrow. Really about this time tomorrow, as we're approaching almost 9 in the evening now, that these storms will probably be at the lakeshore. And they will sweep west to east rather quickly and be out of here in a hurry. And again, your Thursday itself is going to be quiet. You know, it's going to be 2, 3 in the afternoon, and you're just saying, wow, it's warm out, it's muggy out, a lot of sun, I'm baking out there. But once we get into that 8, 9 o'clock time frame, there it is. you can see those storms go through. And I kind of want to just show, why we have so much confidence. I'm going to throw out another model here. That last model I showed is a high resolution model. It does pretty well in terms of trying to depict severe weather. This model does okay in terms of severe weather, but what I'm trying to show here is, notice the bulk of tomorrow, yeah, it's still dry. Here's 4, here's 5, it's dry. But notice, yeah, here comes that line of thunderstorms. Now notice, this particular model is showing more of that classic squall line orientation. And so that's why we still have questions on what exactly will be the orientation of these thunderstorms tomorrow. Now this particular model is a little quicker with the arrival of these thunderstorms. It's getting these thunderstorms at the lakeshore maybe as soon as 7:30ish, 8 o'clock, but I think 8 o'clock's a good bet right now for these thunderstorms. But it's a similar story. Look how this quickly races through, and by 11 o'clock, it's on the east side of the state. But definitely, you can see there's a lot of confidence that thunderstorms are going to roll through. It's just a matter, is it a squall line, or are we going to have those individual supercell thunderstorms that last model I showed had. The biggest thing, though, through tomorrow evening is just we're going to have to keep an eye on that risk as the day goes on, and then as those thunderstorms blossom, we'll have you covered. We're going to be on our streaming app here, 13 Plus, so what you're watching through right now. It'll be myself, meteorologist Colton Woods will be here, meteorologist Amber Tuardi, Samantha Jacks. They will be on standby to keep you updated with anything that evolves through tomorrow evening. I will be here for sure, and we'll have you all covered. But that's going to be the biggest thing for tomorrow. We're getting to about 9 o'clock, and we're going to wrap up here. But as of now, still have that level 3 enhanced risk across West Michigan. The next update from the Storm Prediction Center will be at around midnight, and then for the day of any particular severe weather event, so for tomorrow, they do numerous updates through the day to this risk. So the initial one will come at midnight. They do one at 9 in the morning. They do one at noon, and then they do one at 4 o'clock. So there's numerous updates through the day to keep everyone updated on what they're thinking from the Storm Prediction Center, and vice versa into individual National Weather Service offices that issue those warnings. The Storm Prediction Center, they are the ones that issue the broad severe thunderstorm watches, the tornado watches per se, and then for us here in West Michigan, the National Weather Service office of Grand Rapids, they issue the individual warnings, whether they're severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. But that's going to be our focus. It is our focus now, has been for the last couple days, and it's really going to be the height of our messaging through the next 24 hours because we have all these modes of severe weather possible as these thunderstorms roll through. So I think with that, we're about at 9 o'clock here. We got some other things to get done here at the station. But again, we will have you covered through these next 24 hours as these storms progress through. The bottom line, Thursday will be quiet the daytime hours. Storms arrive around 8-ish or so, 8 to 9 o'clock. They will be out of here by 11 to midnight tomorrow, but it is going to be probably a widespread severe weather opportunity here in West Michigan, and this does not appear to be a boom or bust situation. This is just a matter of when these storms arrive and what will their severity be and the risk that they provide as they sweep through West Michigan. So with that, we're going to end this stream here. We'll have you covered all. We'll have you updated at the 11 o'clock news on our regular programming on WZZM, Channel 13. Myself, Julia Gorman, will be having the latest there. And then in the morning, Chief Meteorologist Samantha Jacks, Meteorologist Amber Tuardi will have their latest updates as we get that next update in the middle of the night, and we will progress from there. So with that, hope everyone has a great rest of their evening. It's about 9 o'clock. Get some sleep tonight, and then we'll keep you updated on what evolves for tomorrow. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your night.
This has been a 13 Weather Impact Alert.